Now, while other YouTubers are busy predicting market collapses, talking about airline stocks, Tesla and Spotify, we're going to talk about something real and exciting happening right under our noses as investors. Now, drop me a comment if you have any questions, hit the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell, but most importantly of all, sit back and relax and enjoy this video on cloud computing stocks. So there will be timestamps in the video description, so you can skip ahead to any part you want to listen to. And I'll first talk a little bit about cloud computing, then I'll cover the cloud providers, cloud services, hardware and infrastructure, ETFs, and then some disruptive companies at the end which are using cloud to disrupt other markets. Now, cloud computing is on-demand computing power and storage, where big companies like Microsoft and Amazon can provide the power and the storage, and then they will leave it at the end customer or end user's disposal. So most small companies don't have their own data centers or backup storage, so they go to Amazon, for example, for all that power. This makes it very easier for the big players to scale, and the small players don't have to make investments into their own cloud infrastructure. So that's the bottom line of cloud computing. And as most companies have to build out their own email servers, communication software, AI systems, IT systems, autonomous machines, or data centers, the demand for computing power is through the roof. And data power and storage has become somewhat of a commodity, just like electricity and water. And it is needed for any major computing power thing. And global IT spending, so software and cloud combined, hit $3.8 trillion in 2019, making it one of the world's largest industries. And I don't see this industry slowing down anytime soon. Now, as an investor, you have a couple of angles to attack if you want to invest in it. You can, as I said, invest in the big providers, infrastructure, semiconductors, software, or opportunistic companies using cloud to disrupt other businesses. So when you think about investing in something, whether it be renewable energy or cloud computing, don't just look at the companies in the industry, look at the companies using the industry somewhere else. Now, the cloud market specifically is projected to hit $623 billion annually by 2023, a big growth rate from today. And the big three players alone, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, pull in $100 billion in revenue almost from cloud specifically. But that leaves $523 billion for the rest, so there's plenty of money to go around. So let's look at which companies are pulling in money. This graph showing the Nasdaq BVP Emerging Cloud Market Index shows how the smaller players in cloud that we've just started hearing of them, have massively outperformed the market in general and the big players. But those big players like Microsoft, Amazon, and Google has also outperformed the market, and I predict this outperformance to continue in at least the decade ahead. So let's look at some of the companies you can invest in. So I'll start off with the big players, which are the cloud providers. These companies provide the back end of the cloud and provides the actual data power and storage for other companies to use. They have add-on services, but this is what they mainly do. In order of size, you've got Amazon with $35 billion in revenue from cloud alone, Microsoft with 44. This number is a bit disputed. Microsoft includes a lot of other services into this number. IBM with 21, really catching up. Google with 10, SAP with 7.6, Oracle with 9.6, and then Alibaba with 3.7. So those are the major players, and scale and size is everything. So the big players will probably stay ahead for quite a while. Now I'll move on to the cloud services, which is sort of software as a service. These are add-on services that helps companies use the cloud and get the most out of their cloud experience. So you got the SalesForce with their sales cloud, which helps businesses run businesses. Adobe with Creative Cloud, Microsoft with Azure, VMware with their cloud management platform, And then ServiceNow, which is a digital workflow cloud provider, which is very popular now. There are so many business streamlining cloud computing companies, but that is the biggest one. Moving on to the hardware infrastructure, these companies provide the parts actually used in building the data centers, providing the storage and the data power. So you got some big players like Dell, HP, Cisco, Intel, Nvidia, AMD, and you even have Amazon and Microsoft stepping into the game with their own semiconductors. These companies are not only involved in cloud, but that is their main sources of revenue nowadays, even with Nvidia and AMD with their high performance semiconductors. And then we've got the data centers. These companies are mostly real estate investment trusts, which means they're sort of holding companies that hold real estate where the neutral data centers are. So they host the data centers, then other companies lease those data centers from them. So these are sort of high yield stocks. So they pay like 4, 5, 6% dividend. You've got Equinix, Digital Realty, CyrusOne, Coresite, and QTS Realty. There's a big sandwich list of companies there, but those are just some of them. And now to the list you're all probably the most familiar with. These are the small disruptive companies using the cloud in other industries. So you've got the SalesForce, as I mentioned, it uses the cloud to provide support and service management for marketing, sales, and commercials. MongoDB is a document-based database. You've got Nutanix, which improves IT solutions with machine learning, automation, and analytics. Crowdstrike is a smart AI cybersecurity firm. ServiceNow is a workflow and communication apps management platform. The Trade Desk helps companies run ad campaigns anywhere on the internet with AI and algorithms. Zoom is a cloud-based peer-to-peer communication platform. There are many of those communication platforms, so be a little bit careful with which stocks you pick here. Workday helps companies manage finance, HR, and planning in one platform. Splunk creates data stream from an entire business operation and then gives you analytics on how you can act on the entire batch of information from your business. So basically streamlining your business. And VMware helps companies streamline running, management, and securing of their apps. So there's a lot of overlapping here. A lot of these companies are not profitable. They're very young. They have a lot of competition. This is definitely a big boom right now. So be a little bit careful with which companies you invest in. There are 10 different cybersecurity firms popping up, 10 different communication platforms like Zoom or whatever. So be a little bit careful when you're trading here. And last but not least are the ETFs. Now, it's a little bit tough to find ETFs for cloud specifically, and you don't have to look for ETFs with cloud in the name. It can be various other software ETFs. Here are some of my suggestions. You got IGV, which is my favorite ETF. It's a general software and IT ETF from iShares. Then you've got Sky, which is primarily cloud stocks, but mostly smaller ones. XT is companies using the cloud for exponentially improving their technologies and getting it out to more people, because cloud is all about scaling up technologies. ARCW is the next generation of web companies, a lot of app and social networks and websites in there. CLOU, mainly cloud stocks. XSW, various smaller software stocks, and most of them rely on the cloud to some extent. And then lastly, WCLD, which is small cloud stocks. So these ETFs are mostly software and IT, and they will be a lot more volatile and a bit more expensive than most other ETFs. Now, that was a mouthful, but there are parts of the industry and even more companies I simply can't cover in one video, but I think cloud computing is the most exciting place to invest right now. And I'm personally invested through Microsoft, Amazon, MongoDB, Alibaba, and the Trade Desk. and I'm always open to more cloud stocks. So get in there. Let me know which companies you're invested in. What do you think of the cloud industry? And as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. Call me out if I got something wrong. And as always, I hope I'll see you in my next video. See ya.